That bottle of olive oil sitting in your kitchen right now, do you actually know what's inside it? Because what's printed on the label and what's actually in the bottle may not be the same thing. And here's what makes this uncomfortable. The olive oil market has been under investigation by food fraud researchers for years. Not because of one company, not because of one bad batch, but because of a structural problem that runs through a large portion of what's sold on American grocery store shelves. Some independent studies suggest that a significant share of olive oil labeled as extra virgin in the United States may not fully meet the standards that classification requires. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a finding that has come up repeatedly in university lab tests, in investigative journalism, and in research published by food science institutions. So today, we're going to walk through 15 brands that raise real questions worth knowing about. And then 4 that consistently earn trust based on testing, sourcing transparency, and third-party verification. Stay with this until the end, because the 4 brands at the close of this video may genuinely change how you shop. Let's start with what extra virgin is actually supposed to mean, because that matters for everything that follows. Extra virgin olive oil, by definition, is oil that has been cold-pressed from fresh olives without heat or chemical processing, with a free fatty acid level below 0.8% and with no sensory defects. That's the standard. It's a quality designation, not just a marketing phrase. The problem is that in the United States, enforcement of that standard has historically been inconsistent. Labeling laws for olive oil are far less strict here than in the European Union, and there's no mandatory third-party testing required before a product hits the shelf. That gap between what the label says and what the lab would find is exactly where the issues begin. Number 15. Great Value Extra Virgin Olive Oil from Walmart. This is where the shelf price does most of the talking. Great value sources from bulk commodity suppliers, often blending oils from multiple countries without meaningful traceability. The packaging offers almost no information about harvest dates, origin estates, or processing methods. Independent testing conducted by food fraud investigators has found that many budget-tier olive oils in this category fail basic purity benchmarks. What tends to happen with oils at this price point is a process called deodorization, refining that strips away rancid odors from old or low-quality oil while leaving the appearance and pour of something fresher. The result is a product that looks like olive oil, that may even technically contain some olive oil, but that lacks the polyphenols, antioxidants, and fresh taste that make real extra virgin olive oil worth consuming. Great Value is available, it's inexpensive, and you may have it in your pantry right now. This brand simply doesn't appear among the preferred choices when transparency and verified quality are the criteria. Number 14. Pompeian. Pompeian is one of the most visible olive oil brands in the United States, and that visibility comes partly from aggressive pricing and wide distribution. The challenge is that their extra virgin line has failed to meet international standards for extra virgin classification in multiple rounds of independent consumer testing. The free fatty acid levels in some batches have tested higher than the extra virgin threshold allows. That indicates olives that were damaged old or poorly processed before pressing. The taste profile that results, described by testers as greasy, flat, or slightly rancid, isn't what high-quality olive oil is supposed to deliver. There's also no harvest date on Pompeian's standard line. Olive oil is a seasonal product. It has a meaningful shelf life that counts from the time of pressing, not the time of packaging. Without a harvest date, you have no way to know whether you're buying oil from last October or from nearly 2 years ago. Pompeian has a large and loyal customer base, and the brand clearly works well for many people's everyday cooking needs. But among buyers who prioritize verified purity and sourcing documentation, this brand is not typically among the first choices. Number 13. Bertolli. Bertolli may be the most recognized Italian olive oil name in America, and the Italian heritage is genuine. The company was founded in Tuscany in the 1860s, but today, Bertolli is owned by a large Spanish food conglomerate, and what's inside the bottle often has more to do with industrial economics than with Tuscan tradition. Bertolli sources from industrial olive farms across Europe and North Africa, blending in large facilities where consistency and volume take priority over quality. They are imported from Italy. Labeling has drawn scrutiny because in many cases, the oil is produced elsewhere and simply bottled in Italy, which is legally sufficient for that claim, but potentially misleading for the consumer. Food fraud investigations have flagged Bertolli products multiple times over the years for failing extra virgin standard. The flavor profile tends to be neutral and undistinguished, which is actually a warning sign with olive oil. Real extra virgin should be peppery, slightly bitter, and complex. When it tastes like nothing, that's often because it's been refined and deodorized. Bertolli is a well-known brand with a long history, and it serves a large market segment. Among those who research olive oil quality specifically, it does not tend to appear at the top of the list. Number 12. Filippo Berio, another brand that leans heavily on Italian identity while sourcing from bulk suppliers across Spain, Greece, Tunisia, and Italy, blending those oils into standardized products. Their processing involves methods designed to maximize yield from lower quality olives. What's worth understanding here is the difference between mechanical cold pressing and chemical extraction. Real extra virgin olive oil comes only from mechanical pressing, no heat, no solvents, just physical pressure. Chemical extraction methods can produce more oil from each batch of olives, but that oil doesn't qualify as extra virgin. When blending happens at scale, with mixed origins and mixed processing methods, quality control becomes difficult to guarantee. Filippo Berio's extra light variety is worth discussing specifically. That product is refined olive oil, meaning it has been stripped of its flavor, color, and most of its nutritional compounds through heat and processing. It's technically olive oil in that it originates from olives, but the beneficial properties associated with extra virgin olive oil are largely absent. For everyday cooking where budget is the primary consideration, this brand is a familiar choice. It is not typically found among preferred options when quality verification is the standard being applied. Number 11. Carapelli. Carapelli is a Florentine brand with genuine history that has since become part of a larger corporate portfolio. Their standard grocery store line follows the bulk sourcing model common across mass-market brands. Olives harvested mechanically, often stored for weeks before pressing, which creates conditions for fermentation and early rancidity. Fresh extra virgin olive oil is ideally pressed within hours of harvest. That's not a marketing claim, it's chemistry. Enzymatic breakdown and oxidation begin the moment an olive is damaged or cut, so delays between harvest and pressing directly affect quality. Carapelli's labels don't typically include harvest dates, and the flavor of their conventional products reflects that flat, without the fresh fruitiness that characterizes well-made oil. Their organic line performs somewhat better, but the standard grocery store bottles don't tend to distinguish themselves in quality testing. Number 10. Colavita. Colavita has a presence in both mainstream supermarkets and Italian specialty stores, which can create an impression of elevated quality. The reality is more complicated. Colavita sources from multiple countries, blending bulk oils without detailed origin tracking. Their bottles are frequently displayed near light and heat sources in retail environments, which accelerates quality degradation. Independent testing has found some Colavita bottles that didn't meet extra virgin chemical standards. The presence of shelf time without harvest dating means you could be purchasing oil that's 18 months or more past its pressing date. This is a commonly available brand, and many people have used it without issue. Among buyers specifically evaluating for quality markers and third-party verification, it's not typically the top recommendation. Number 9. Star. Star is part of the same corporate family as Bertolli and Carapelli, which gives you a useful frame for expectations. It's designed as the budget line within that portfolio, competing on price rather than quality. The sourcing is focused on the cheapest available Mediterranean oils, blended and bottled with minimal quality verification. Consumer Reports testing found extra virgin oil had sensory defects and failed purity standards in evaluated batches. The packaging, often clear glass or plastic, allows light to accelerate rancidity, which compounds any issues with the oil's baseline quality. There's no harvest dating, no estate information, and no published third-party testing. This brand is positioned for the bottom shelf at the lowest cost, and those priorities are reflected in what's inside the bottle. Number 8. Goya. Goya has built genuine loyalty in Latin American communities across the United States over decades, and that loyalty reflects real trust in the brand across many of their products. Their olive oil, though, operates on the same commodity model as the other brands in this section. Sourcing from bulk suppliers in Spain and other Mediterranean countries with no detailed transparency about processing or testing. Goya's business model prioritizes shelf-stable products that can sit in warehouses for extended periods, which means the freshness considerations that matter most for olive oil quality are not the primary driver of their sourcing. Without harvest dates and with supply chains designed for longevity over quality, Goya's olive oil is a practical choice for consumers who need an accessible product at a fair price. It is not among the brands that quality-focused researchers tend to highlight. Number 7. Kirkland Signature from Costco. Costco's Kirkland brand earns genuine praise across many product categories, and some Kirkland products do match or exceed the quality of branded equivalents. Their olive oil, though, has shown inconsistency. The bulk purchasing model that makes Costco work well for shelf-stable goods creates a challenge for olive oil. Oil may sit in large containers for extended periods before bottling, then spend additional months in warehouses or on shelves before purchase. Even if the source oil was reasonable quality at pressing, extended time and light exposure degrade polyphenols and antioxidants significantly. Independent testing has found some Kirkland extra virgin bottles failing purity standards. The batches vary. Some are sourced better than others, but that inconsistency itself is the problem. When you can't reliably predict what you're getting, the value proposition becomes harder to assess. For some buyers, Kirkland's price and availability make it a sensible choice. Among those evaluating for consistent, verified quality, the track record gives reason for caution. Number 6. 365 Whole Foods Market brand. There's a natural assumption that a product sold at Whole Foods will reflect the quality standards associated with that retailer. For their house brand olive oil, that assumption deserves examination. The 365 line sources from conventional suppliers, and independent testing has shown elevated free fatty acids and missing flavor compounds that define genuine extra virgin quality in evaluated samples. The clear glass bottles accelerate degradation, and the lack of harvest date information makes it impossible to verify freshness at the time of purchase. Organic certification on some of their products addresses pesticide use, which is meaningful. But organic certification does not address freshness, processing methods, or whether the oil meets extra virgin chemical and sensory standards. These are separate questions. Whole Foods offers several genuinely excellent olive oils, but they tend to be the branded specialty products with verified sourcing, not the house brand. Number 5. Trader Joe's Standard Extra Virgin. Trader Joe's earns strong loyalty from its shoppers, and they carry some products that represent real value. Their Standard Extra Virgin olive oil, though, has underperformed in testing. Sourced from various Mediterranean suppliers and bottled under private label, with no harvest dates and no estate information on most of their standard bottles. Consumer testing has found flat flavor, absence of the peppery bite that indicates fresh polyphenol content, and signs of oxidation in evaluated samples. Trader Joe's has offered some single, origin reserve options that have performed better, but the standard everyday extra virgin the bottle most shoppers reach for, doesn't hold up well against quality benchmark. If you shop at Trader Joe's and want good olive oil, it's worth seeking out their small, production estate offerings rather than the everyday line. Number 4. Lucini. Lucini positions itself above mass market brands and prices itself accordingly. The quality, though, hasn't always matched that positioning. Sourced from Italian estates, the oil passes through blending and extended storage before reaching the consumer. Many Lucini products lack harvest dates. Independent analysis has found some products with sensory defects and chemical markers indicating suboptimal storage or handling. The packaging is attractive and the brand story is well told. For buyers making purchasing decisions primarily on brand narrative, this works well. For buyers cross-referencing lab data and harvest transparency, the results have been mixed enough that Lucini doesn't consistently appear among recommended options. Number 3. Newman's Own. Newman's Own occupies an interesting position, a genuinely charitable company whose olive oil passes through standard commodity supply chains. The charitable mission is real and admirable. The olive oil, though, doesn't benefit from that mission in any quality-specific way. Sourced through conventional channels, with no published testing protocols, no harvest date information, and no origin specifics beyond regional labels. The taste is described in testing as generic and unremarkable, consistent with blended commodity oil. The cause is good. That doesn't change what's in the bottle. Number 2. Spectrum Organic. Spectrum operates in the natural food space and carries organic certification, which matters. Organic certification means no synthetic pesticides were used in cultivation. That's a real quality consideration. But organic certification is not the same as extra virgin certification. It doesn't address freshness. It doesn't address processing methods. It doesn't tell you whether the oil was cold-pressed within hours of harvest or whether it sat in storage for months. And it doesn't verify that the polyphenol levels, the compounds associated with olive oil's health benefits, are present in meaningful quantities. Spectrum's extra virgin line has tested flat in sensory evaluations with signs of extended storage and oxidation. The organic credential is real, but incomplete as a quality signal for olive oil specifically. Without harvest dates and third-party purity verification, Spectrum sits in a frustrating middle ground, better than the cheapest options in some respects, but not verified against the standards that matter most. Number 1. At the far end of the spectrum, Iberia represents the clearest example of price, only purchasing in this category. Consumer complaints about this brand are consistent across platforms: plastic tasting, stomach upset, rancid within days of opening. The sourcing is completely opaque. The processing is conventional industrial. There's no publicly available quality control information beyond basic food safety compliance. What's likely happening chemically with a product at this price point is what the industry calls lampante. Oil that would fail extra virgin and even virgin standards. That requires refining before it's technically edible, blended with a small amount of actual olive oil to legally meet labeling thresholds. That's a known practice in the lowest tier of this market. Iberia is sold in markets serving price-sensitive consumers who need an inexpensive cooking fat. That's a real and legitimate need. It simply doesn't reflect the product that the olive oil label implies to most buyers. And this pattern, across all 15 brands, isn't an accident. The American olive oil market has weaker regulatory enforcement than the European market. Import volumes are enormous, origin verification is difficult, and price competition pushes producers toward shortcuts. The consumer bears the cost without knowing it. So what does verified quality actually look like? Let's talk about the 4 brands that consistently appear at the top when independent researchers evaluate for real extra virgin quality. These 4 share common characteristics: published harvest dates, third-party lab certification, transparent sourcing down to the estate or grove level, dark glass packaging, and taste profiles that match what fresh cold pressed olive oil is actually supposed to deliver. Number 4. Costarina. Founded by a Greek-American entrepreneur specifically in response to widespread olive oil fraud. Costarina is single-origin Greek olive oil from a single family estate. Every bottle lists the harvest date and lot number. The olives are hand-picked and cold-pressed within hours of harvest, then tested by independent labs. The polyphenol content is high, and polyphenol level is one of the clearest indicators of genuine quality in olive oil. Research has associated high polyphenol olive oil with anti-inflammatory properties, cardiovascular benefits, and antioxidant activity. The difference in polyphenol content between a real high-quality extra virgin and a refined commodity oil is substantial. Costarina's taste reflects that quality peppery fruity, with a slight bitterness on the back of the throat that experienced tasters recognize as a sign of fresh, high polyphenol oil. The dark glass bottles protect from light degradation. The price is higher than mass-market brands. When you understand what you're buying, that premium makes sense. Number 3. Brightland. A California-based brand founded after the founder discovered through personal research how much of the olive oil on American shelves fails quality standards. Every bottle of Brightland lists the harvest date, origin, and olive varietals used. The olives are estate grown and cold-pressed within 90 minutes of harvest. Third-party testing confirms extra virgin status and verifiable polyphenol levels. The taste is vibrant and clean, without rancidity, without the flat aftertaste of refined oil, without the chemical edge that appears in low-quality products. Brightland is priced as a premium product, which it genuinely is. It's the kind of olive oil that changes how people think about the ingredient. When you taste what fresh extra virgin actually tastes like, the commodity alternatives become harder to go back to. Number 2. Cobram Estate. Australian olive oil that has become a meaningful reference point for purity and freshness in the American market. Cobram Estate controls the full supply chain from grove to bottle, which eliminates many of the quality degradation risks that occur in commodity sourcing. Their extra virgin olive oil is independently certified with published lab results showing high polyphenol content, 0 defects, and no signs of adulteration. Olives are pressed within 4 hours of harvest. Every bottle displays both a harvest date and a best by date, a level of transparency that most brands don't offer. The flavor is clean, fresh, and complex in a way that reflects genuine quality. And Cobram Estate is available at major retailers at a price point that's accessible compared to other verified brands, making it arguably the easiest entry point into genuinely good olive oil for most American shoppers. Independent testing has consistently placed Cobram Estate at or near the top in quality evaluations of olive oils available in the United States. Number 1. California Olive Ranch Reserve. A distinction that matters. California Olive Ranch's standard grocery line, which appears at number 5 on the lower quality list in some analyses, has shown inconsistency as the brand scaled production, but their reserve and premium estate lines are a different story. California Olive Ranch's reserve products are harvested from dedicated California estates, pressed with careful attention to timing, and verified through third-party testing. They include harvest dates and estate information. The oil is produced domestically, which eliminates many of the sourcing transparency issues that affect imported products. California has its own climate and agricultural conditions that produce distinctive olive oil, typically fresh and grassy with clean finish. The reserve line consistently performs well in independent evaluations, with polyphenol levels and sensory profiles that match what extra virgin olive oil is supposed to deliver. For buyers who want verified domestic production, transparent sourcing, and accessible distribution, California Olive Ranch's reserve line represents a genuine premium option. Here's the practical takeaway from everything in this video. Olive oil fraud is a real, documented, ongoing problem in the American market. It's not sensationalism. It's a subject that food scientists, investigative journalists, and government researchers have examined repeatedly, and the findings are consistent. A meaningful portion of what's sold as extra virgin olive oil in the United States appears not to meet that standard when tested. The solution isn't complicated, but it does require paying attention to a few specific things when you shop. Look for a harvest date on the bottle, not a best by date, a harvest date. That tells you when the olives were pressed, which is the freshness metric that actually matters. A best by date is typically 2 years from bottling, which tells you little about actual quality. Look for dark glass or opaque packaging. Light accelerates oxidation. Clear glass and plastic packaging are choices made for visibility in retail settings, not for quality preservation. Look for single origin or estate sourcing. Multi-country blends are harder to verify and harder to trace. Single origin oils come with accountability attached. Look for third-party certification, not just organic, specific extra virgin certification from an independent testing body. In the United States, the California Olive Oil Council provides one such program. In Australia, it's UNEP-RL and similar bodies. These certifications involve actual chemical and sensory testing, and when in doubt, price is a rough guide. Genuine extra virgin olive oil from quality, controlled sources costs more to produce. A bottle priced at $4 or $5 for a large quantity is signaling something about what's inside. None of this means that every expensive bottle is good or that every affordable option is fraudulent. But it does mean that the category rewards a small amount of attention. The 4 brands discussed at the close of this video, Costarina, Brightland, Cobram Estate, and California Olive Ranch Reserve, have all been evaluated positively by independent researchers. They're a reasonable starting point for anyone who wants to know that what's on the label reflects what's in the bottle. Your kitchen deserves that level of honesty, and now you know what to look for.